All right, thing should be on. This is What's Up Dave for Tuesday, May 9? Yeah, May 9. It's about 1:15 p.m. Kind of getting a late start to the day. The What's Up Dave stream is basically me catching up with my friends on the internet every day. I share some stuff that I'm doing and plan my day. Usually I should plan my day in the morning, but this has been one of those weeks so far. So in the show notes in the chat rooms, I've put links to or wrote in what I'm planning on covering today. So what am I doing? What am I doing today? Just the volume over here. Let's see. All right, so usually I'll start with the show and tell. What's new? Well, this is new. Switch cameras. Let me go to Oxcam 1, 2. So yesterday I was smoking a pork butt for the first time. And it's kind of dark in here. It's hard to see what this looks like. Maybe I should use the other camera. But so I tried to make pulled pork. So basically I got a pork butt, didn't marinate it, just threw it into a 250 degree, the electric smoker outside, and brought it to 190 degrees, which what people said that's what you should. That seemed like really high to me. Like, it came out okay, a little bit dry. But I guess this usually has lots of grease and, what do you call it? Barbecue sauce. I suppose there might be a way of recovering the juices within mixing it back in, but I didn't have any. They were all kind of dried up. Maybe you have to open it up in the middle and extract the juices before they just dry up and burn. I just put that back in the fridge. So it came out pretty well. I could show some of I took some pictures, process pictures as I was doing it. So let me pull up Lightroom. Have a look at that. Let me synchronize with my camera uploads. This is my iPhone. Synchronize folder. Yes, please. Dialogue's on the other monitor here. Just put the camera. There was low when it's synchronizing. Woo. It's taking its sweet time. Yeah, so there's the smoker. I was just outside. It took 9 hours. There's a cat sitting on me. Let's try to get a good picture of him with his funny tail because he has the line cut right now. So this is a pork butt after it came out of the oven. It's kind of a very good picture. And that was the results from last night. I could have sworn I had other pictures of this. Maybe it's in before. Oh yeah, this is what it looked like before I went in. Covered it with mustard, which is the binder for the dry rub, which is the dry rub here. Then I threw it in there. So you can see it started around 47 degrees when I took this picture, and it finished at 190. Took 9.5 hours. So that was the exciting first smoked pork butt. I used some apple wood that I got at the supermarket. So I'm not sure if it was like maybe the best thing, but I'm experimenting on it. So next time I might try like a lower temperature and see, because 190 degrees, that's super high. I mean, why would you do that? So anyway, next, I had gotten these pens and I had never actually looked at these yet, so let's take a look. Let me go to split cam view again. This is a Faber Castell Loom fountain pen, medium nib, I think, that Kuzunatra in the co-working chat had posted about. I think it was him, yeah. He's in Russia somewhere, I think. I should open this thing. Let's point this down. You can see what we're doing. Open! How does this open? Like this? Courtney. Hey, Courtney. Yeah, she's asking, saying, doesn't pork only need to get 165? At least 170 for safety? That's true. That's the old the old temperature guides from the FDA. The FDA has actually dropped the safe cooking temperature for pork now to, I think, 150, 155 degrees. You can look that up online. But pink pork is apparently acceptable in this day and age, which means pork will taste better. That's a nice box. Let me switch back to, I like the split view. I wish I had a split view with chat. I should probably make one of those. So let me get that down like this. Let me try to adjust this a little bit so this camera has a better time focusing. What's going on here? Stuck on something. What is going on? Anyway, so let's take a look at this. It's a nice looking pen. Oh, a little ribbon loop. This is beautiful. But how does it feel? This is like a little elastic that's holding it in. Actually, this is gorgeous. So, I'll hold it up here. So it's a simple design. It unscrews to open. Oh, no, it unscrews to, there is the, well, I guess where the ink goes. This is like an empty holder cartridge. So it does not come with ink. Does not. Look how thick this cardboard is in the packaging. It must have been, it's like 2 pieces bound. I was trying to buy cardboard like this for the ETP stick pads, but it's ridiculously expensive to source small amounts of thick cardboard. It's like $2 a piece. All right, so you just pull it out, and this is what the pen looks like. See if it focuses. It'll probably focus better here. I've been trying to fix the lighting situation down here, so things work better. I don't know if this is focusing. I'm having a lot of focus problems with this web camera. Either there's not enough light, or my camera is like, it's probably easier if I take a picture with an iPhone and then just like share that on the screen. So this is a nice pen. I did get some, just pushes in. I did get some cartridges for it. I'll try that some other day. These are just royal, but there's also, I also got the cartridge converter so I can put other ink in there. Now the other pen that was recommended, so I've got, here's the Lamy LX. This is the Pilot Metropolitan that Kuzinatra and I think Bill Cracky in the co-working chat mentioned. And the last one, I think it was Bill or TGA in the chat room said something about, I'll put this back in here. What was it called again? It was the, the Jinhao pen, which was like a knockoff of a Waterman. I don't really know. I didn't really know very much about these pens before I started buying them. I knew something about the Lamy, however you pronounce that pens. So Jinhao is a Chinese, mainland Chinese manufacturer, China. And this pen was, I think, $5. Like that Faber Castell that we were just looking at, that was like something like $40. Dom is like saying, hey Dom, I don't know if Dom likes pens. Do you like pens, Dom? You open this thing. So this didn't come in a box or anything like this. $5, but it's apparently a metal-bodied pen. It's auspiciously named Jinhao, which I think is the idea behind that. Hao means good. Jin means really good, really, or very, or really, really. You know, it's an emphasis term. So look, let's look at this fat, stubby thing. I mean, it feels pretty good, actually. I mean, how do you open it? It's, well, it kind of rattles, too. Do you unscrew it? Oh, you unscrew it. That's nice. This is like a thick plastic, I think. But it's quite solid. I mean, the metal, this metal feel here is like really kind of like light feeling. But maybe it's pretty solid. It kind of has that, what I associate with that sort of chintzy look. It's not all. There's a lot of plastic pieces on this, and this light metal. This is like a plunger style converter, so I had to get some ink for this. But it seems like a nice pen. We'll have to see how it writes. Not gonna do any of that today. But we'll save this up for some future thing. But this compares the feel, the thick feel of it. I think is actually kind of nice, and it's like $5 or $6. It's under $10 certainly. I mean, that's not a bad pen, but and I also like how it screws closed. I mean, so this is a pen that you could probably carry around with you. Looking at this, I don't know how stable it is, but intriguing. This was a good call. So thank you, TGA or Kusanachio, whoever was saying that. Dom says he just likes to watch. Watch people ogle their pens. I can understand that feeling, Dom. You're among friends. I like it too. Let's see. No reason to feel weird. So, okay, what else was I going to do? Let me go back to the chat window and see what I was doing today. So I went over the pork butts. I went over the pens. All right, now it's time to shift over to work. Work this week. I'm doing themed weeks. Is to focus on JavaScript development. And so that's for this NSF grant that I'm doing some coding work for with my partner in arms, Ben, who's the actual principal lead on the software team. I've been working with him for a long time. And we're at the beginning of a new grant. And so we're going to add new features to the current code base. And expand it, and at the same time clean it up. So this will be the second time we get a chance to do this. Our main delivery date is October, although we have some testing days coming up in July. Not that far from now. And what we want to be able to test are the new features, like the new features in the system are something called gestures, in which a little kid in a space, the motion tracking cameras, they don't have any here. But right now they can track what's called the centroid, the center of mass of where they are. So I think we can have up to 8 kids running around. And so they can all interact with each other in the space, and we can have the software interpret what that means. And the teacher can control it. We now have the ability for iPads to talk to the main system and all this stuff, and somehow it magically works. It's code that I look at and says, did I write this? This is kind of cool. And then I get all worried because I don't remember how I did it. But anyway, so since we can only track position, that's limiting for interactions. And because there's so many kids running around, it's hard for the teachers to tell what the students are saying, unless you're a pretty skilled at this. So one of the new features is gesture. So if a kid raises their hands like this, being able to tell that they're holding this gesture, and that means something to the system, and we can get that as an input, and then have the system respond. So being able to recognize particular gestures would be cool. The other thing would be to recognize props. So you put things in the space, like maybe there's a yellow square someplace on the floor. That means something special to the system, which can detect it, and then say, the yellow entity of class yellow rectangle is at this coordinate system. And we get that information too, and then we can put something else there or have it mean something. Like if yellow, it's like you could throw a penalty flag into the space or something. It could mean anything. It would give us a lot of encoding stuff. And this will be built on top of the annotation tools that we built in the last grant, which they could use some refinement as well. One feature that didn't quite make it in was the integration of live video recording and playback. And so that's like a major technical test that we need to review. So those are the basic things, and then providing some interactives which we can test them in the actual testing spaces that are at UCLA and at Indiana University. So we're not doing the actual research, or I'm not. I'm providing the tools so the researchers or the learning sciences people can actually do the actual studies. And I've been meaning to read one of the papers. So anyway, but getting back to it, what I need to do is do a lot of like early interactive architecture, and I've known how to do this. I have approaches that have worked before. I mean, we spent the past 3 years really learning how to get JavaScript to do what we wanted it to do in these new systems. Like, we're not doing the motion tracking component, like the remap at UCLA is doing that. But working with JavaScript and seeing if we could use it to be a viable simulation engine with distributed control, that's what we were learning how to do. Now that we have a lot of these things in place, turning it into a system that's easy to author with instead of doing all the custom code that we have to do, and also improving the robustness of the code base and the let's say the accessibility in terms of like, so a new coming along, either like a grad student or like another research team, being able to take the work we've done and build upon it. Now, right now it's not really in that state. I understand how it works, and to an extent Ben understands how it works, but I know that there are choke points in it, and I know there are things that can be improved. However, we're not actually being paid to do that, so I had to split this work into 2 phases. The first phase, and these phases run simultaneously. The first phase is meeting the requirements of the grant, which is to implement, one, some bug fixes from the last grant, and 2, the get gesture support, gesture/poses, we're called it. 3, the prop support. 4, we want to maybe look at wearables, although I think we dropped that for this grant, because that's just one more thing to worry about technically. And then make sure that this all works and hits their delivery dates. That's really the nuts and bolts of the grant. Now, the part of that I'm interested in as well is the improving authoring, making a better system, easier to debug, updating some of our tools, and creating a system for expressing interactives that use the concepts that we have in here. And that I'm going to do under a different billing code, which is going to be my personal 1401 billing code. However, since they're both closely related, like, I'm just going to do them at the same time. And I'm going to use the personal desire as a motivation for working on the grant code, and vice versa. Because I'm working on the grant code, I'm going to be inspired, because I'm already there, to work on the stuff that is interesting to me. And if we had like I guess if we had more time and other people, we could maybe do both of them at the same time if we had a bigger budget. But this is a way for me to use this work to inspire me to improve some other aspects that will pay off for me and the team and the project in the long run. And I don't feel bad about this, because this is like an educational, publicly funded grant. All the code that we're writing is public anyway, and I'm planning to make my code public as well. To some extent, some of it is already public in an older version of it. This is the 1401 engine, but I was still figuring out how JavaScript worked there, and it was really more for my own, again, I had done that just to split the work apart as well. So that's what I need to do, and this week is the week that I wanted to make a major push on it. The week afterwards is going to be working on my own stuff, so I'm going to be working on my stationary projects. Primarily the stationary stuff. I want to make a push on that, because I need to get these goals, chugging along. So with that, let's plan the day. And I guess I should go to me plus screen, or let's see, that would be Auxcam plus screen plus chat. That's what I want. Let's see. So I am going to pull up Illustrator and print out my ETP for the day. Oh, that's coming up. We can look at yesterday's. So here's yesterday's ETP. Yesterday was kind of a randomish day. So I have weekly doctor visits for, I think, the foreseeable future. We're tracking some stuff, and so Mondays are kind of like days that are I'm a little bit off, and so I'm not able to push myself too much on that so far. But as those things clarify, maybe I will be able to. Then yesterday was the pork smoke that happened. I did not move the tires downstairs. The tires? Can I show those tires? Yeah, let me see if I can show that. So over here, move this. Oh, this unplugged? No, it did not. Over here. So in the hallway, I don't know if that's showing. Those are my snow tires, and so I had to carry them downstairs, and I have not felt like it because they're heavy and they're dirty. Getting in the house was already like a huge win, and getting them out of the car. But I still need to do that and then clear up that hallway. So anyway, let's make the new form. Illustrator is running now, so let me switch to the screen. Let me load. I guess this. This is the current new ETP. Oops, what happened here? This is really close to being the new one. Well, what I'm torn on is whether or not to make this replace the old SKU that's on Amazon right now with the new design. If people get mad, the appreciable changes are some people might be upset by them. So I made this promo version of it that shows what's new. I posted this on Twitter. So what we have going on here, these are the upcoming version 3 changes. There's a wider grid area, simplified day grid, which is the left side thing. What happened there? It's just a rendering error. Streamlined hour markers, which are these. This used to be a double thing. It removed 2 hours from the 4-hour tracking. And I was never using 4 hours. And I would argue that if you have a 4-hour task up here, you probably should break it into 2. This is coming from the notion that if you're doing deep work, 90 minutes is kind of the limit. And that's what I tend to do. And then I adjusted some of these prompts. So, for example, these used to say, the very top one used to say, if I look at one of the old pads here, it used to say 3 major tasks for today. Now it says 3 important tasks for today. And instead of saying realistic expectations equal consistent daily productivity, it now says prioritize work that grants tangible benefits and or meaningful progress. This is influenced perhaps by the OKR stuff and maybe to make it a little bit more like the MIT, the most important tasks process. And then here, right now it says, got some more chores? Clear your mind and go for it. It used to say, tackling more than 3 major tasks, clear your mind, go for it. So the adjustment of that prompt is, I tend to use these for chores. And so anything that's not an MIT, like a most important thing, should maybe be listed here. A few more stretch tasks. Don't forget to save energy for tomorrow. That's similar. It used to say, more than 6 major tasks, reserve some energy for tomorrow. So I made it a little bit more conversational, and I'm not sure what the wording of this, but it's dividing the tasks into different categories, whereas before it was just numerical. Got more than 3, got more than 6. I also adjusted the prompting down here. What else is going on today? That's the same, I think. It still says life just happens because this is the emergent task planner. You get stuff done in the face of chaos. That's its design conceit. It used to say, use this area to keep notes on the unexpected. Use numbers to label day grid as needed, which is, I think, fine. I've changed that to keep track of emergent tasks and or important reminders. That's not grammatically right. So I'll need to work on the prompting there. But it's interesting to compare what these look like before. So if I go back to this view, here's the current design. And then over here, this is the old design. I can just lay them on top of each other. Maybe you can see the difference. And I'm trying to fix the lighting here, so hopefully that will be an improvement in the future. So you can see, definitely this is the new one. There's more room to write compared to here. And it looks like it's about it's like a centimeter more space to write in. But that centimeter makes a huge difference. And partly the way that was achieved was by, this lined up quite right. Yeah, it's maybe a centimeter, maybe a little bit more, 11 millimeters. And then I simplified this grid sign on the side. There used to be like an hour and a 15-minute markers. So I've condensed those down and made it smaller. Why isn't this lining up right? Yeah. It's something more like that. So that also gives me some more room. I've changed the markers also here to make it more obvious that this hour goes with the starting point up here. And then on the other side of things, you can see like the old version had 4 tracking bubbles. It had about this much space to write in. The new one has that plus a little bit more. And I think it was better to be able to write. So we haven't lost space to write here because we took it back from these 2 bubble views. And the final change was, you can see here, it goes 10, 11, 12. It goes all the way down to 25 to 40 actually. Someone made the comment that it was too small to write tasks in those areas. So what I've done is I've just doubled the spaces. So now it only goes to 24, and there's space if you needed to actually write more tasks down. You could do that there. But it's optional. That's what I want to change this wording for, so you can use it to keep track of things, or you can use it to keep notes. And a new thing for this changing thing, which I'm going to have to document. It's not, these lines aren't on the current one, but if you're doing an most important tasks thing, like here, doctor appointment, then you can shade in those blocks so you can see where you were spending time with your MITs. That's the idea of it. You can see I started to do it down here. If it was stuff that was like really something you were doing on purpose, fill that in so you can see, yeah, I did something that's related to that. So thinking of replacing this skew with like this design. Will people get mad because I've changed it, or will be happy with the improvements? I guess another thing is like I moved the date to this side from this side because when this got wider, there was not enough space here to actually have the emergent task planner fit there with the prompting text. And I've always kind of liked it on this side better than this side. So I think overall this is an improvement for the form. So I'll be releasing that to people on the Patreon supporters and people who are in the co-working chat room. So regulars, or well, I guess anyone who bothers to go to the co-working chat room can go check it out. I'm shifting the strategy from putting stuff on my blog to people who have already engaged with me. And those are the people who are likely to give me feedback. When I post stuff on the blog, I get no feedback from anybody. It's just like over, if you're interactive with me, if you're either giving me money every month, like posting a $1 a month with the Patreon subscription, I think you should get access to those secret things, because we're working together, we're collaborating at that point. I'm trying to do stuff that you like, and you get the chance to play with the stuff that presumably you like, otherwise you wouldn't be backing my work. I'm not like making a living off of it, but it's a way of ensuring that everyone has some skin in the game. And it's up to me to continue to provide that value. And if you've actually bothered to log into the chat room and check things out, then I think that you are probably among people who, and I can see this working just by seeing who's in here now. There's like, how many people? There's like 14 people in here right now, and then an unknown number of lurkers. If you're lurking in here, if you're spending time in here, I think that's fine. But yeah, so that's what I'm going with now. I'll probably announce things on the Facebook page and on Twitter and also on my blog. But right now I'm de-emphasizing the blogging work until I can reformat it into something. But anyway, I digress. Let me go back to the screen and print out this thing. What happened? Got a Macintosh Finder. So this is the master PDF. I want to change this grammatical thing. Got some more chores? I'm going to get rid of the sum. Got more chores? Or have I got some chores? How about some additional chores? Chores could be anything. Got, I want to push to get some, want to push what? What I want to say is like if you got some really extra things. How about some? Or this could be fun things, or let's see. Got some additional chores. I'm gonna remove some. Sounds weak. Got additional chores / projects. Clear your mind, go for it. Really trying to more stretch tax. Got feeling lucky. Feeling ambitious. Push for 9. Push for extra. Go for it, but go for it. Do I want a but or an and? Keep track of remittance or keep note important reminders. Keep important reminders. Let's say we'll just move that first. Keep track merchant tasks. And or keep reminders here in this space here. All right, that's a little bit better. Let's print the sucker out. Laser jet actual size print. It's getting really close. That was updated this. Don't save. Quit. All right, let me go downstairs and grab that. Go back to this view. And we will plan the day. It's already must be 1:30 or almost 2. So, I'm gauging my level of energy. This might be a day in which I'm not going to be super productive in terms of what I produce per minute, but I think it's going to be half producing and half contemplating. So that sounds like, ordinarily I would live stream this, but I think I actually need the quiet. I need to pump up the music loud and be by myself isolated to pull this off. But anyway, let's see what we've got going on here. Let's go back to Oxcam plus chat, and let's fill this out. The first step, let me look at yesterday's ETP. Let's see, today's Tuesday. I should use one of these fountain pens. Oh, this is not the fountain pen paper I usually use. And we'll use a Pilot Metropolitan. Tuesday, May 9. This is much finer than that. It makes you write much more deliberately, which maybe is a good thing. So, what didn't get done yesterday? 12 and 12? That was a game thing we were talking about in the DS playing chat room, which is separate from the work chat room. The idea is to play 12 games to completion in 12 months, and I don't think I want to make that commitment. So I need to figure out, I need to schedule a day with Duncan. I've been very bad about this. Also, I need to schedule a day with Gary. Maybe that's what I do next week, because that will be my week for working on my own stuff. I'm going to close this video thing. Close video research. That's a document I was doing for Roger in the chat room. Review, what's that say? Remote travel chart? Oh, that's Jess's app. I think I want to do that. So I'm going to like time block 15 on this. Just wanted to look at her wireframe. I know she's changed it quite a bit. She's been working hard on it. Jess is in the chat room. I think she's in Japan. Jess, wireframes, because I just going to look at it again. And then I'll say this is closed off. I think enough time has passed in which it's probably vastly different from what she had there. And then there's Beverly's game grid. These are all under tasks that are under my objective. So Groundhog Day resolutions to be part of community. If I look at my OKRs, overcome isolation. Because that, if you're isolated, creative, like you personally, that affects your creativity and your motivation. I'm finding. What else do we have? I want to read some ERA papers. These are the researchers. ERA, I think, is a conference that they do in which they share all their learning. I think it might not even be called ERA. It might be called something else. But I'll just write that down because I know what that means. Primary care physician hunt is still on the list. Looking for doctors is one of my least favorite things. The current doctor I'm seeing is a specialist. But it would not work as a PCP. Server check. I did actually do some work on that today in the morning. I should do that. I'll write that as a task 6 follow up. You'll see that I'm not filling these out in order because that's kind of prioritizing as I go. Follow up with Rackspace. This should have a statement of work for me. How they handle server migrations. This is for another client. Put away the damn tires. I'll put that down here. I'll probably end up procrastinating on something else and putting them away. Put away tires. Put away tires. Basement cleaning. I'm not going to put that down there. I did reply to the Art of Us. Oh, vet. 11 a.m. Wednesday. I did get cat litter. I didn't get spare ribs, but I think they'll just emerge at some point. Need to remember TypeCon. Still not sure if I'm going to go yet. And the 2024 drop goals. I think I've decided to drop them, but it's kind of a blog post. All right, so what else is on this list? All right, so now I had to think about, what's today's sheet? When did they start today? Around 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One fun thing I want to do too is to watch Arise 3. Arise is I guess you could say it's like a prequel to Ghost in the Shell, as it's portrayed in the manga, as opposed to the Ghost in the Shell movie from Oshii, the director. So I will say the spiritual continuation or the spiritual version of the manga, the comic, is really like the production IG. Is that what they're called? a different studio. I like it much better. And I digress. So I think I've got the day planned. I gotta switch back to this regular pen. And what's going to be today? Really, the only important thing is to, I'm going to time block these. This is a TB15. This TB15, the time block 15 is like I spend 50 minutes on it just to start. Once I get going, this will be a architecture review for Aquarium's project. And then after that, I'm going to have 2-hour blocks. I think I want to look at Durandal removal. I don't know how much time will be there. And then ARC documentation, or tech design doc. That's really all there is. I'm not exactly sure what I'm working on, so how long have I been going? This has been 40 minutes, so I started this at 1:15. Don't have the right screen. Oxcam, here I am. So this is What's Up Dave. At 12, I was doing clean up. Cats, ceiling, rack space call, clean up living room, mop, rerun cables. I also looked at ball peen hammers. Ordered some stuff. What did I do here? 11. I think this was just checking social media, which I shouldn't have done. Oh, I had the right. There was a Skype with Ben to do the week plan. Then I did all this stuff. So that's what's happened so far today. I should put maybe clean living room. Living room. That was important. I'll leave that one open in case there's something I want to do. Yes. I wonder if I should divide this into quadrants. I could take one of these, and so I could make kind of like a really light grid division that way. And maybe make another one this way. So then what I'm thinking of is then I could start writing my to-dos here, and this I could keep for other things. It might be a nice feature for people. I'll think about that. Or it could piss people off. It's hard to say. They may like the free. Some people like the free form nature of grids. Some people need more structure. So maybe that's something that I can figure out how to do sometime. Anyway, I think that's it for now. There are some links I wanted to go through just because I'm trying this out as a new segment thing. So link dump is the place where we post all of our various media things. Or like I try to keep the chat channel itself clear of like lots of media links because I find it disruptive to the conversation. You know, so here we're geeking about old computers. It's a picture of my cat. There's a picture of someone else's cat, which is adorable. It's Courtney's cat. Courtney, your cat is cute. These super hot spicy noodles. I guess a rib shack in Portland burned down. That's where Zen Linux is from. Some lamps. I've got interesting media things to share. That was the pork I made. Oh, so just posted this podcast, The Art of Charm. She said it was cool. So just looking at this. So I think it's a productivity related one. Still loading. The Art of Charm, social science, positive cognitive psychology, confidence, relationship, behavioral, economic. These are all things I like. So this is intriguing. The Art of Charm podcast is where self-motivated guys and gals, just like you, get to learn from a diverse mix of experienced mentors, including the world's best professional and academic minds, scientists, relationship experts, etc. This does sound interesting. Let me add that to my to-do thing here. Art of Us? Art of Charm. Is that the name of it? Let's see what I think of it. Art of Charm? And what else is in the link dump? Roberto posted a pic of the podcasts he follows. Let's take a look at this. So he looks at Unemployable, Brian Clark, The Digital Entrepreneur, Work in Progress. I haven't heard of any of these. The Showrunner, The Audacity to Podcast, Proudly Unemployable, The Science of Social Media, Conversion Cast, Recode Decode. Look at those podcasts are so professional looking. My podcast is dumpy. I need to update it. That was interesting. So Roberto is a consultant in, I think, the Latin American, people who want to do business in Latin America. So that's his business. I guess that's all the links piled up. There was this one about how to make a strudel. This was actually a really cool video. We Strudel NZ. Every time she appears in the chat room, I think of strudel, and so I was wondering, what is strudel? I wasn't sure if I'd actually had it or not, and then I was curious. Well, how do you make strudel? So she had found that link and posted it for us. I guess that's it. So anyway, that's enough distraction for now. It's 45 minutes in. I feel kind of settled. I've gotten a lot of stuff off my chest, so hopefully I'll be able to focus and get some work done. So I'm about to go into hermit mode and not talk to anybody and just try to beat my head against this programming project until some cracks appear in the wall and stuff starts to happen. So thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow.